Welcome to Dahouet, one of my favourite places. We're in North Brittany, which is at the west end of northern France, in the English Channel, or La Manche as the French call it. La Manche means the sleeve, and it's sort of a bit like a sleeve, the channel really. It just narrows up towards Dover, where it's only 22 miles wide, but down here it's 100 miles and more. And the wonderful thing about North Brittany, apart from the food and the cheese and all the lovely people, is the remarkable height of the tides. Just down the road there in St Malo they get 50 feet, and here we've got 40 feet today on the top of a big spring tide. And as you see, looking at the harbour, there's no water in it at all. It's an astonishing sight, but the water's going to come back a bit later on, and we'll talk about that shortly. But coming in here through the entrance, as I look at the entrance now, it's just a wall of rocks. There's no possibility of anything getting in there, and this is the best harbour in the world at low water. It couldn't be beaten because there's no entrance really at all. But at high water there's a nice little channel and you jink in through the rocks, which you don't even see because they're all covered. Believe it or not, that lot's covered. And in you come, and you lie in a deep pool which is protected by a little sill and stops the water going away. The old harbour over there has no sill, and it dries out like it always did. Back in the 19th century, that wall over there was studded in the autumn and the winter with great big fishing schooners that had been to Iceland and Newfoundland. Terre-Neuves they were called, and they came from this little harbour here with the men of the town. They went up to Iceland and Newfoundland banks and they fished the cod from dories. Little tiny boats, they put them over the side. The guys rowed away from the schooners, which were anchored in the shallow waters far from land where the codfish spawned, and there they filled their dories with cod on hand lines, just jigging away and pulling them up until they took them back to the ship, filled the hold, and on the holds the men split them and salted them down to bring home, because here in Northern Europe there was a Catholic countries and everybody needed to eat fish on Fridays because they couldn't eat meat. So there was a big demand for fish, and salt cod was very sought after. It still is by some people, but there's very small quantities now. But in those days they were landing it in tons. The schooners would come in and the fish boxes would go slamming down on the dock over there. The women would come down, pleased to see their men home, or would like to hope so, and the young men would go heading off for the bistros and the bars, their pockets full of money, and it would have been a lively scene over there. Today it's a bit different. It's a holiday town, but we still have a few fishing boats. There are still great little seafood bistros over there, and one way and another the harbour master Guy and his mate Gilles make visiting sailors feel so welcome. It's like coming home again coming here. It is a great place, and you're going to love it when you come back and see the tide up. I'm off now for a bit of a snooze actually, because I've just had a jolly good lunch. I'm going to have a little snooze, then I'm going to get up, do a few jobs on the boat, have an aperitif, and by the time I've had that it'll be getting on dinner time and the tide will be up. So I'll come back and I'll see you then. There's something else I want to tell you about. Well, back again 4 hours later, and look at the difference. The tide's up, boats are moving, and the place has come alive. It is a most remarkable thing to feel the breathing of the planet like this, and you get it here like nowhere else in the world. This is my neighbour just going out to sea here. He's going to slide through the gap in the sill and he'll be off out to the entrance, and he draws all of 6 feet there, and as you can see, he's got no problems at all. Looking out towards the entrance, you can see the sea perfectly clearly now and the channel that he's going to go out through. It's a bit of a wiggle, but it's no problem at all. Last time I was here in my boat, I had a remarkable experience. They reckon that there's no atheists on the battlefield or in a gale of wind at sea, and I think I'd subscribe to that. But there is something a bit special about the sea that makes you think about these things. This port, every year, all the fishing boats go out and are blessed by the local padre, who anchors in a boat out there, and they all sail past him slowly, one by one. and are blessed. He flicks the holy water on them and makes the magic words, and the guys go away feeling much better about life. And we were here in our old gaff cutter, and we were invited to join in this ceremony, and it was particularly special that year because it's not just to bless the boats, it's also to remember the souls of the men who have been lost at sea. And the previous winter a whole boat went down with all hands from this port, so it was very poignant. And we went out with them, and they all trooped through steadily under power, doing about 4 knots, and we had a beam wind. So I dropped my staysail, hoisted my jib, and put the mainsail up, fully scandalised, and just juggled the peak so that we stayed at the right speed with the rest of the fleet. And we went past, and the padre flicked the holy water at us and blessed us. And we pulled the peak up, dropped the tack, and sailed away over the horizon. And I felt an awful lot better for that. You might say it's a load of superstition, or you might not, but when you've been there and it's happened to you in Dahouet, you realise that there's more in life than you can see and touch.